Hi everybody, it's the Planet Earth here. We're going to go ahead and do some speed test here. This is a visible speed test. Let me tell you the downsides to visible LTE right now so y'all know. I'm going to tell you right now. The downside is there is no 3G backup. You also don't have any domestic roaming partners with visible LTE, so don't account connections other than Verizon LTE towers only. There might be a couple instances where you'll be able to make phone calls on certain domestic roaming, but don't expect a postpaid domestic roaming connection partners or whatever. Just you're not gonna get domestic roaming. Period. Another thing, unless you live in an area where it's all Verizon all the time, you'll be fine. Now, if you also live in an area where it's like remote-ish, kind of a small town, and you're not worried about latency on your cell phone, which is not really a big deal if you're live streaming or if you're YouTubing. You might notice a slight longer delay of actually loading websites because it goes through like a little bit of a third-party server. Increases latency, but at the same time, it's okay. It's not that big of a deal. It's only 100 milliseconds. It's like a second of latency. You get deprioritized over everybody, but if you're on an unloaded LTE tower, expect these kind of speeds. You also get Wi-Fi calling, unlimited speeds, which is very nice for an MVNO provider for $40 a month. And you do not get any international roaming. You can't make phone calls. You can't even buy a package like on Verizon prepaid, like $5 a day. You get 500 megabytes of high-speed data in Mexico or Canada. You don't even get that. Now, but if you're not traveling, if I were you, I would definitely get a prepaid provider, preferably AT&T. If you're going to Mexico, get AT&T prepaid. You'll have unlimited speeds on the AT&T network in Mexico, and I'm not joking about that. And you'll get high priority in AT&T in Mexico if you do go to Mexico, even though it's very dangerous. But yeah, and then Canada too. You'll get roaming providers in Canada, which is very nice and no extra costs. Anyway, let's do a speed test here on the visible LTE. I'm very happy to see that I'm almost hitting 200 megabits on visible LTE. So at night, I'll probably hit 200 megabits. But yeah, they don't care about speeds. They don't throttle the speeds that much, which is very nice of them. Get great speeds on their network, and it's over 100 megabits. I'm very satisfied. 110 megabits down, over 10 megabit upload speed. You get unlimited tethering, which is a great feature of visible LTE. They don't really give a crap about you tethering. They really don't. Trust me. Trust me. They do have a tethering plan, which is included on the $40, and I don't know. I always get unlimited high speeds with visible. Even when I first got it, I got the maximum download speeds. And I mean, they just don't seem to care. Like Verizon just doesn't seem to care how fast visible uses their towers. Now, if you're on a congested tower, you are going to be deprioritized and you're going to have a lot of lag. But on an uncongested tower like this, even during the daytime at 1:49 p.m. in the afternoon, obviously coronavirus is going around, so this is slowing it down or speeding it up a little bit. But there is no issues. You have voice over LTE calling. You also have Wi-Fi calling. So if you're in an area where there's no Verizon coverage, West Central Texas, or areas, but you cannot domestic roam. There is no domestic roaming. Don't count on there being any coverage at all. It'll say no service available. But if you're in an area where you have great Verizon coverage, you're in a small town, and you know it's a Verizon-based tower, expect the maximum speeds of that tower. However, you will have a very high latency, which is normal for an MVNO provider because they go through a third-party server. They don't go through the dedicated Verizon DNS. So you will have a little bit of a latency issue. But if you're just loading websites and you're just doing basic YouTubing, you're going to get the maximum speeds. And I'm sorry to say it, but Visible is a great service. Since they're getting rid of the 3G network, you're not even going to have 3G backup. So if they're going to get rid of the 3G service anyway, there's no point in getting Verizon prepaid at this point. The only reason you'd want to get Verizon prepaid is if you want just a little bit more priority over a tower. But if you're in an area where Verizon has like 3 to 5 bars, 2 to 5 bars actually, you can get away with 2. You're going to get the maximum speeds. See, that's one thing about Verizon. that band 13 coverage, and then and obviously I'm closer to another tower though, so it's going to switch to LTE plus. But if you're on a band 13, you should get at least 50 megabits per second with a higher latency. But you know, it's really fast. On this tower, obviously in other towers it'll be congested, and you're not going to get those good speeds. But for visible, this is impressive. I'm very impressed. They have excellent coverage throughout the country. Wherever Verizon is that they have towers, you'll still remain connected. As for streaming, I've never had any issues streaming. So you will get maximum stream action if you need to stream to YouTube, Twitch, or however mobile streaming, twitching, whatever the hell you want to call it. So, yep. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Yes, if you get on a congested tower, you will be deprioritized below even Verizon prepaid. However, it is owned by Verizon, kind of like AT&T. Prepaid is, well, owned by AT&T. So, but because Verizon owns the company, they allow the full speeds of that connection. So if you do have a phone that is with Visible, I can give you a referral code, and you'll pay $25 for your first month, and that will give me a discount of $25. I'm not joking when I say you only pay $25. You will literally just pay $25 for the first month of service. But you have to have a phone that is compatible with Visible. It has to be like the latest and greatest kind of phones, or Google Pixel phones, Samsung Galaxy phones, or any Apple iPhone. But I would get an Android because you get unlimited tethering speeds with Samsung devices, and they don't cap you at like 0.5 megabits like Verizon prepaid. For some reason, Visible allows like the maximum speeds on tethering. So does AT&T prepaid if you have an unlocked device that doesn't look for carrier a carrier lookout. If it doesn't look for that carrier, it'll just activate, and you could just use your hotspot. But don't abuse the service, because if you abuse the service, then they'll lock it out with future software updates. But no, with Samsung devices, you could just have unlimited tethering, and it just works. I recommend the services if you live in a Verizon-only area and you know that you're going to have good service at your home or office, and you have good speeds already with Verizon. I would get Visible. Like I said, the only thing is you're not going to get any customer service. You only talk to them through chat. However, they have very little issues, so enjoy.